Welcome back. Now we'll be looking at the drama surrounding the elections on June 21st as people are prepping for the governorship elections in Ekiti State. With us, we have two guests in the studio this morning. Let me start by introducing Otitoju, who is a public affairs commentator, and Kayode Otitoju, who is a politician and former commissioner for information, Ekiti State, and at one time was a gubernatorial candidate in the same state representing the PDP. Wonderful to have you in the studio this morning, sirs.
It's my pleasure. All right, so Otitoju, he's a man on the ground. He's a former governorship aspirant and a commissioner in Ekiti State. I was saying earlier I was in Ekiti State late last year. A lot of development there. They're trying to get the government moving, new roads, agriculture, getting the education sector. It's like a state trying to gain itself. It's development, construction. If you listen to the governor speak, he has a lot of ambitious plans for the state. But the election is coming on the 21st, and we have three candidates for that election. The former governor of the state is also called the man of the people. Some people call him the man of the people, despite the fact that he was out of office in very controversial circumstances, facing a trial also to piracy. You'll have who was Bamidele, who was a former member of the All Progressive Congress, the current member, good, and he's also contesting in that election too, also a former lawmaker. And of course, then you have the incumbent governor. These are three very interesting candidates, of course, and the debates have been ratcheting up in the papers. What is your impression of all the candidates?
Yeah, the election will be candidate-based, not party. And in Ekiti, there are some parameters that will come to play in choosing who will be the number one citizen of Ekiti.
All right.
I'm PDP, but I'm not going to talk in line of party now. I'm talking in line of being a major stakeholder in Ekiti. The three candidates you mentioned, that's Opeyemi Bamidele, is coming for the first time. So we don't know his pedigree in terms of state administration. The other two have at least ruled Ekiti for minimum of 3 years. During Kayode era, I happened to be a commissioner for information. I was brought in a year after he was sworn in, just to come and mend the image, from the family, from all sorts of. And I did that for about a year and 2 months, and I resigned.
Why did you resign?
I resigned because I think I've accomplished what I've accomplished. So I knew him very well. I mean Kayode. Then again, when I left about a year and a half. Then he was impeached because probably nobody to manage his image, so much by then, because there was mutual respect between both of us. I will moderate him. You will think and give me feedback and say, okay, that's the best line of action. So I know him very well. So from a distance, I know him. So now comparing the two that have ruled Ekiti for 3 years apiece, during around time, that's PDP under Kayode, Ekiti never knew peace. It was one problem or the other. It's a matter of fella's song. You be thief and no be thief. You be arm robber, you don't be arm robber. You be, you be killer and no be killer. Argument. Terrible. Then again, in terms of development, we open up so many roads like Ado, Afa, what's the name of this? Ire Road, and some others. But these things were just like plaster. Within 6 months, they were washed away. Okay? Then we embark on poultry project. The day before the the president came visiting, they brought chicken from Ibadan and put them in the... So when the president got there, he said, what type of poultry is this? Does it mean that your own chicken will be shit? That any poultry at all, before you arrive, just about 2 meters to the place, will have been seeing the odor. So that was the type of ritual. Now, through one way or the other, he has been made the candidate for the party against the wish of Mr. President. Mr. President wanted the consensus candidate, not primary. And at the end of the day, nobody contested the primary with him. The person, one of the people promoting the party in the Southwest, which I give him credit for using his money to promote the party, bankrolled his candidacy, and the NWC chose him. The president was annoyed. So now getting him as the flag bearer, people now started leaving the party. People who know his antecedent. Shegun Oni left, Bobade left, his junior brother Latibosin left, and so many people, in fact nobody of substance has really said Kayode will be #1 citizen again. Now come to Fayemi. Fayemi has good education, PhD. The other one has contentious HND. Fayemi won himself to the others, to everybody, even the teacher that are complaining. The teacher know that actually you don't give what you don't have. Fayemi has a PhD. He was a lecturer, so he can give better to teachers than someone who doesn't have HND. So all those things are there. And in Ekiti, it's not whether you did infrastructure or whatever. First of all, what wins the election in Ekiti is your character. It's your character. It's respectful. It's good. May God make my son or my daughter be like this person. That's how all those Okada people you see, those are TB gimmicks for Kayode, because those things you see as clean are the things that he took at marketplace and on market day. It's not informed, what do you call it, campaign where you move from word to word. From word to word, no much noise. Then you are capturing the people who actually vote. That you stand on top of a jeep in the market. Market people want to see a madman. And they tell you.
We're going to put you on the pause here and get back to your thoughts. We'll get to come to be on the show with me now. You've had the description of all the candidates. It's not really a one-horse race, is it? The former governor of Ekiti State, that's Kayode now, really does have support on the ground, or is it on the pages of the paper alone he's getting all the support?
Yeah, I think one needs to look at it objectively. In the first instance, I go to Ekiti a lot, just also to understand what's going on the ground, understand the people, the way they think, particularly the voters. One of the things I realize is that most of the Okada riders are not actually Ekiti residents. Many of them are from neighboring states, or in the east or in the north, and therefore they were not even registered voters in Ekiti. But those are people who can easily be fooled with 1,000 naira a day, to crowd a rally. So I detected that the real issue, in Ekiti, for many people today is who should continue in office, who should govern Ekiti. There are two major candidates out of the three leading candidates, which is the incumbent governor and Kayode. Now, they've seen the Ekiti governor, Kayode Fayemi, at work with all what he has done. When I used to go to Ado Ekiti some years ago, when Shegun Oni was even there, by 7:30 in the evening, you can't get Okada again. everybody will have to go to bed. The whole place is dark like a village. But today, go to Ekiti, up till 11, there's that night market. You can get, it's bubbling with life and all that. Then when you actually consider Fayose himself, after he left office, what happened? He was deemed to be very, very popular. But I remember he contested, there are two major elections, very important. The first one was when he contested, when the deputy speaker, Saliu Adeoti, died, and they had to go to Otun Ekiti. Fayose was there for 4 days. I was in Otun to observe the elections there. He was there for 4 days, with all the Okada riders, killing cow, distributing rice and money. And I remembered, if I can remember correctly, the governor came on the last day. Finally came on the last day of the campaign. I think he spent 3 hours in Otun. And when the result came out, I think Fayose's Labour Party had 250-something votes. PDP had given up at that time. They had 1,800 something votes. They didn't really campaign much. And then AC then, under Fayemi, had 4,000 plus votes. For me, that was very revealing. Second incident, electoral incident. Fayose contested again as a Labour candidate, senatorial, in his own senatorial district, against Ojudu. Ojudu floored him. So, and again, you see all the crowd. He has a clever way of arranging, his campaign. When he wants to do a mega rally, he will choose a market day where the market will be so crowded and people will get excited, and then you see people around, you see money flowing around, and of course market women, everybody would. So if you are not careful, you will assume he will approach each market woman trying to buy one thing or the other that he doesn't need to start with from them. He tries to project the image of being a populist, but in reality, when you distill that popularity, when you take away the slogan, the boss away from it, and in reality, actually talk to those people, and then you hear the people saying, well, we are not going to vote for him. And then you begin to wonder, but why are you people? They say, well, it's a market day. He came on a market day. And of course, they will not be able to sell, but they would rather listen. After all, some goodies would come around too. But those goodies will never influence Ekiti voter. They are so sophisticated. They have a mind of their own. They will take the goodie, but they will still do what they want to do. They vote in line with their conscience. And that is why I feel that maybe PDP has chosen a wrong candidate. Oh. I think so.
Okay, now before we go into the ramifications of choosing the wrong candidate, now let's look at the Ekiti atmosphere that's been said to be charged right now. I mean, there's talk of armed thugs, all because of the upcoming governorship elections. Now, what effect do you think they have on the Ekiti people? Now, you have said they're enlightened people, and they know what they are going for. They're not just going for a popular person, someone who seems popular, but they are going for what I would call substance. Now, having a charged atmosphere in Ekiti State, what do you think? How do you think it would affect the elections? Now, I have a statement here from somebody, the Chairman House of Assembly Service Commission. He says that the level of violence in the state has been exaggerated. On one hand, we have reports saying that the atmosphere is charged. On the other hand, somebody who is of some authority saying that it's exaggerated. Let me direct a question to you.
Yeah, it's true. I actually believe that Ekiti is a very peaceful state, but with potentials for political violence. Particularly, if you try to rig elections, Ekiti people will say no. They will never accept that. Two, there are also unfair situations that they find themselves and they would resist it. Let me give you one example. You will remember the incident that happened when the governor was stoned, and allegedly by supporters of Ayo Fayose from the PDP secretariat. Of course, the governor supporters they showed up and they started to deal with them. So they leveled the place, the PDP secretariat, to the extent that Fayose is now using his spotless hotel, for it. When you look at it, it was a provoked situation. When you do that, if party supporters or their leaders are not tolerant, if you provoke it in Ekiti, they will retaliate. They will not let it go. They don't take those insults. They will retaliate. They will give it back to you in the same measure that you have given. Then there is the propensity for some candidates to be violent. And because of the history, the antecedent of Ayo Fayose when he was in office, don't forget there are still cases. You remember the Daramola's case, Dr. Daramola, allegedly that he was indicted. Allegedly, the case of Omojola was there, who was killed in Ifaki, Ekiti, allegedly with Fayose's presence, was still there. And therefore, people pick up vibes. You remember the case of the chairman, Ado local government, Fasuba, I think his name is Taye Fasuba or something, and also against the Ewe of Ado Ekiti. You know, if someone has gone to that extent of even threatening an Oba as powerful as Ewe of Ado Ekiti, then you have a major issue in your hand. Other candidates are likely going to get prepared to resist this violence. The point I'm trying to make is this: violence begets violence in Ekiti. Because people know he has the propensity to use violence to achieve his goal, other parties will be prepared to resist him, if need be, violently, to make sure that violence is not used to change the results or the direction of the election. So that is the context in which I see the violence in Ekiti. It is not that Ekiti people are violent. They are not violent, but they will resist anyone using violence to rewrite history or to change their trajectory. So that is the context. So go and look at every situation where you have violent situation in Ekiti. Is either the people are resisting people bringing in talks with guns into their community, or they are challenging, the rampaging talks within their own community. So that's the context. They are quite very sophisticated, very enlightened, very courageous people who are determined to resist any tyranny.
All right, Kayode Otitoju, I'm going to take you up on this. You've been in government, you've been in Fayose's government, and you did say that there was the jaw every time. Trouble here, trouble there, all throughout your time when you were commissioner there. Is it possible we can take out political thuggery from the system? I mean, can we have an election campaign period that there will be no thugs, there will be no violence in Ekiti State, for example?
You see, I'm still the card-carrying member of PDP, and our choice for candidacy wasn't Fayose. It was either DA or
what happened?
Yeah. The NWC, some of the members came in and bottled up and imposed him. So, having imposed him, well, some of us say, we will still stay in this party and salvage it. Because when he ran away the other time and ran to other party or stay in PDP to work for Fayose, we made there to build it. Now he can't benefit from what he left for us. He can't benefit. He can't be the flag bearer away. It's not possible. So those are the calculations the people imposed him. He didn't really do. And again, by imposing him, they have limited the chances of Mr. President becoming a consensus candidate. Because Mr. President wanted the consensus candidate for Ekiti. And out of the 14 major aspirants, he said, choose one among yourself. But this was the only guy who didn't conform. Now, by now saying, okay, we went to primary that was never been. You get the point? It's now difficult for that particular NWC to say that they will do consensus candidate and bring Mr. President when it comes to presidential. Now, they will have to open it up and allow other candidates, other aspirants to contest the presidency, which is not very good for even we people that are dying hard for Mr. President. So now they have chosen this guy, and he knows clearly well that he can't win. So as the party was giving him money to campaign, he was using it to help himself. Within that period now, he has bought a house in Maitama for $750 million. Then the remaining